as you find ways to beat the heat, keep in mind one of the most essential items in sun protection. Of course, we're talking about sunscreen.
It is so key. And some videos have been going viral, especially on TikTok, and they're casting doubt on whether or not we need it. But who better to ask than our medical expert, Dr. Kohli. Dr. Kohli, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, guys.
Of course. So first question we want to ask, how are you reacting to these TikTokers? This has been going on for about a month or so now, and they're spreading some myths out here. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it takes my breath away, honestly. After the pandemic and all the misinformation that we had out there, the fact that people are putting this out there, and the fact that we as a society are not prosecuting them criminally, not holding them accountable, not shutting down their accounts, just kind of letting them run amok, to me means we have some work to do.
Absolutely. Okay, let's bust some myths this morning, shall we, Dr. Kohli?
Let's do it.
The first comes from a TikToker and it had 11 million likes. Can you believe it? Myth number one. The more time you spend outside, the less likely you are to get sunburned, proclaims a shirtless TikToker with nearly 90,000 followers and over 11 million likes. What do you say to this?
I say, oh boy, those 11 million people need to listen to the fact that this is the exact opposite of the truth. The sun is a carcinogen. It is a known carcinogen. It has two types of ultraviolet rays, UVA. A stands for aging, and UVB. B stands for burning. And it's dose dependent. So the more time you spend in the sun, the more likely you are to not just burn, but to age and to have your risk of skin cancer increase.
And for our friends here in the Centennial State, why are we even higher risk in Colorado?
Yeah, so this is what's interesting. First, we spend a lot of time outdoors. We love our outdoors here in Colorado. But second, and more importantly, because of our climate and our atmosphere, we actually have more UV exposure than other parts of the country. So our rate of skin cancer per capita is actually the highest of anywhere in the country.
Wow.
That's incredible. Okay, our next myth this morning comes from someone posting on X, formerly Twitter. Sunlight isn't toxic, sunscreen is.
Whew. Okay, where do I start with this?
Right, yes.
So now there are some sunscreens out there. I want to start by saying this might be partially true because there are some sunscreens out there that have chemicals that are not safe. Especially you should be avoiding sunscreens that have oxybenzoate. So that is a chemical that is not thought to be safe. But the mineral sunscreens can let us have our cake and eat it too. They can offer us that protection, keep our skin looking nice and young, and make sure that we can spend time outdoors in a safe fashion. Sunlight has some benefits like vitamin D activation, but again, excess sunlight, especially without that sunscreen protection, can really increase our risk for skin cancer.
And piggybacking on that a little bit, what should we do to minimize our risk of skin cancer?
Okay, so broad spectrum sunscreen, that means UVA and B protection, SPF 30 or higher, put it on every 2 hours. Especially for sweating or swimming, you have to actually reapply it every 2 hours. Some people use the spray but don't put a thick enough coat on. So if you're going to use the spray, make sure that you're spraying long enough to put a nice thick coat on. Those wide-brimmed hats that are really cute, but also protect your face from aging and the sunglasses, and trying to avoid being outside between 10 to 4. If you are outside at that time, then try to stay in the shade because that's when the UV protection is the highest. If you're in the water, you can actually get reflective UV off of you as well, so be mindful of that.
It can be worse.
And so many people are into skincare these days, which I love. You know, we're seeing younger and younger people actually moisturizing, taking care of their bodies. You don't want to waste that money by, you know, spending too long in the sun. Okay, we have time for one more myth, shall we?
Yes.
Slow exposure to the sun allows you to build melanin and protect skin the natural way.
Okay, so tanning is actually an injury pattern in the skin. Now, it's true that tanning offers about an SPF of 2 to 4, but compare that to 30, which is what you need. So it's not really protecting your skin. It's actually giving you a warning that you've already damaged and burned your skin, and by spending more time outdoors, you're just doing more of that. So if you tan, use a tanning bed or tan the natural way, that's actually an injury in the skin, and the skin is trying to repair that DNA that you've damaged with the sun.
And talk to us a little bit more about the types of health risks of UV radiation.
Well, you know, we talked about skin cancer, melanoma, which is the deadliest of any cancer out there. There's also basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, other types of skin cancers. If it goes into your eyes, it can cause cataracts, it can cause macular degeneration. In fact, excess exposure to UV can also affect our immune system. So increase our risk for not just infections, but also malignancies. So that UV radiation is really, really toxic to us. And it saddens me to say that under the age of 30, only 8% of men men, and 26% of women say that they regularly use sunscreen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so to your point, I mean, there's no point in getting Botox and doing all those things when the
Right.
simplest thing you can do is just protect your
I
skin.
mean, even
from
just the
damage.
simple moisturizer that you think
Yeah.
you're helping yourself, and then you go and reverse all the effects right there. I will tell you, I just invested in a bucket hat. Best thing I've ever done. I'm so happy the 90s are back.
I don't tan my face, neck, chest. It's all totally off limits, and I lather on the sunscreen. So
Yeah.
thank you for busting those myths this morning, Dr. Kohli.
Appreciate it, Dr. Kohli. And remember, you can find all of Dr. Kohli's appearances at 9news.com/Dr. Kohli. All of that's going to be really important to keep in mind, especially on a day like this, Ed.
You're right.